So the hardest part of any journey is just getting started, that initial step. That's the same in property investing. And today what we're going to be talking about and sharing is how myself and a colleague I'm joined with today, Mike, how we got started on that journey in property. Hi everybody, welcome to Journey of a Property Investor, where in this podcast we want to bring you as much content as we can, not just what it's like to be in property or to get into property, but everything around there as well. So things like mindset, stocks and shares, different things that all surround property investing and things that you naturally look at thereafter. My name's Dave Guest and I'm going to be your host, and I'm joined by Mike Turner, who is our co-host on the podcast.
Hi Dave, thank you for that. Nice to be here.
So Mike, how you doing?
Doing very well, Dave.
Good stuff, good. So Mike, obviously I know you, but do you want to introduce to everybody who's watching who you are, what your background is before we start?
Yeah, no problem. How far do you want me to go back? I was born back in 19...
Yeah, well, you can't go before that, can you? So, yeah, take us back to when you started your professional career, because I know you was in finance, but...
Well, actually, I started talking professionally. I went to university, I studied law and French, and spent a study year in France, so really enjoyed that.
I did not know you... So do you speak French as well?
I do speak French, yes.
Is
this, a bit rusty these days.
Is this where the wine comes from as well? Your knowledge of wine?
No, that
Mike's got an infinite knowledge.
That came a lot later, yeah.
Okay, yeah, sorry. Carry on then. So I didn't know.
So, no, I studied law in French university.
Yeah.
After that, I worked in business development for a while, and then I got a job in financial services and went and worked out in the Middle East. From that, I went and I sort of decided to go out on my own with the entrepreneurial spirit and set up my own mortgage advisory, which I did for a number of years.
Yeah.
And I worked with a lot of property investors. And so I just thought, well, I have a lot of this knowledge myself.
Yeah.
And so I then started to turn myself back to property investing. I was doing a little bit on the side. I was finding deals. I was working with investors. I was involved with a couple of other property related businesses. And I was director of an auction platform.
What was the mechanics of why was it going to be different?
Yeah,
was it just a normal auction, or is it like these online auctions? Was it all?
Yeah, it wasn't the modern method of auction. Our hook was basically sell your house for free.
Right. Okay.
The auction concept is finite.
Yes.
Once the gavel goes down, that's it. You're committed to buy, right? So, it was an online auction. It was more like eBay for property.
But the reason I ask is there was some friends of mine and Lindsay's, and they just found their dream home, and they needed to sell their house quick, £750,000. So that is in the market where you've got reduced buyers, and they needed a quick sale, so they did a raffle. You bought a ticket for £20, and honestly, the psychology behind that. I mean, I think I bought about 5 tickets or something like that, and people were buying loads. They did it. They got the money for the house in like no time, and I thought, what a brilliant idea. But I am shocked that isn't something that grew a bit more. And honestly, the buzz that was going round all on Facebook, and you bump into people, and people say, you bought a ticket for to
the local chippy and put it in the window.
yeah. So, but anyway, we digress.
Yeah.
So you took on that role.
Yeah. So I did that for a while, and I was kind of alongside my mortgage business after I started that, and the idea was I was going to help support that on the mortgage side as well. Yeah. Of course, that didn't work out, and then I just started focusing on my own sourcing. So at the time, I was actually sourcing properties, and I was selling them through that auction platform as well. So I did do quite a few of those. And then I sold some to private investors as well.
Do you ever wish, thinking back, do you ever wish and think, I wish I had kept a couple of them?
Those houses? Well, yeah, because they've probably gone up double in price by now.
There's a strange thing with life, isn't there? It's not what you've done, it's what you didn't do. There's several places that I've looked at in the past, particularly when I go up to my mum's house, and when I drive past them, I just get this feeling like I miss out there.
Actually, there's quite a few property deals and opportunities that I've seen in various places I've lived over the years, and I've thought, that's a perfect opportunity. And I've not done anything about it. I've just thought, that's a great idea. So he's going to make a lot of money there one day.
Isn't it funny?
And then I've gone back 2 years later.
They were right.
And it's a block of 80 flats or something, right? And so there's been a few chances. And I've got some things that I'm looking at the moment, which, I'm not going to sort of skip out on these ones. But going back to before I went out to the Middle East, I'd actually already started to get interested in property. I think, like most people, the first book I read in early 2000s, actually, somebody gave me Rich Dad, Poor Dad, which, I'm not an avid reader. I get distracted too easily.
Are you not?
No, I'm not.
I am shocked at that. I would have had, yeah. Because, you've clearly got high IQ intellect. And I looked at you and thought,
That's very nice of you to say.
Well, I call you the internet. If the internet was to go down, I'd be thinking all the facts and stuff you know. So, interesting. Okay.
Well, actually, I find it really hard to focus on a book.
I'm the same.
I'll read a paragraph and then I'll have to go back and I'll have to read it 3 times before it sinks in. But on the other hand, when I do read it, I'll remember it quite well. So not verbatim, but quite well.
So when I start reading, fully committed and reading it. And then after a while, I start daydreaming about something else, but I'm still going through the words somehow. Yep. But that's it. It's like a useless multitasking because I'm going through it. I'm looking at the words and I know I'm reading them, but I'm thinking about something else.
It's actually not a bad technique to try and sort of focus your mind because the words are kind of cutting out a lot of the noise that's going on around, and your mind is focused on thinking about certain things. But then you realise you've not paid any attention to anything you've read, which is the trouble. So I don't read a lot of books, but I listen to a lot. So I listen to lots of Audible and lots of audiobooks. So if anybody has any recommendations, any sort of, psychology, science, all kinds of things like outer space and
okay,
there's one of them called Dark Matter and the Dinosaurs or something that's fascinating.
I was reading a book on anti-gravity not so long back. Couldn't put it down.
Yeah.
So Rich, sorry about that. So Rich Dad, Poor Dad. I think most people get into like entrepreneurial shit through that.
I mean, that's another backstory of how that book came about. But I was given that book. I think it was sort of 2003 or 2004 or something. Somebody gave me that book, and it did change, as you said. It's a mind shift, and it really just opens your eyes and changes your paradigms. And kind of once your eyes are opened, you can't go back. Like once the box is opened.
Yeah, is it the blue pill or the red pill in the Matrix?
Yeah.
When you've had it, you can't go back. I remember feeling a little bit angry when I first read it because I was like, why am I discovering this at the age of 30 or whatever it was, and that I hadn't discovered it before?
Yeah.
Because you're right. It is like, well, now you know.
But after reading Rich Dad, Poor Dad, as I said, my brother got interested as well, and he found a book called Property Magic, which you might have heard of.
Yes.
A guy called Simon Zucchi wrote Property Magic, how to use other people's time and money to build your portfolios. Great book.
Good book. In fact, on the 6th edition, on page 129, I think it's the second paragraph down, there's a good case study in there.
I think that might be removed out of the new version, Dave. Yeah. So I read Property Magic, and that just kind of clenched it for me. And I thought, property is absolutely the vehicle that I want to use, to take control of my life, my future, my destiny, pensions, financial freedom, all the rest of it. And then from there, I actually started attending some property seminars, one of which was a one-day quick start back in 2013 with Property Investors Network. And that was just a one-day foundation, just a bit of a taster and getting to know some of the things that you can do with property, some of the strategies and how to get started, really. The most important thing was working with motivated sellers. And now I'm working full-time with Property Investors Network. And I love it, every minute of it.
So I mean, we said at the start, really, it is all a journey, isn't it? It's not the destination. It's, you can think you want to get to one place, but it's how you get there, isn't it? And just listening to that there, it was inevitable that it was going to come out that way, really, wasn't it? And your entrepreneurialness, so you didn't just carry on doing mortgages. Because I was always fascinated by like people who are engaged or in property that don't do stuff with it. Like many mortgage brokers, you'll meet, and they won't want to do it. Well, then I always think, but you know the nuts and bolts of this. Why aren't you? You know the valuations, how to get the money, and all these things. But it is that entrepreneur. In fact, I was talking to my son last night, Joel, 13, and we was on about business and things like that. And his teacher said, "Look out for this lad in the future. He's gonna, he's gonna be a businessman, and stuff like that." So he's having that conversation, and he said to me, he says, "Dad, I wish they didn't teach business studies at school." I said, "Why?" He says, "Because I don't want no one else to know it." And I said, "Mate, you could teach everybody in the school that, but it doesn't matter. It's about the people who understand that entrepreneurial stuff and about the people who are going to take action. And that's what I pick up from you there.
From what I see with people in the property investing world, and those that succeed and those that don't are the ones that actually go out there and put it into practice. It's like a mentor of mine when I was in my late teens or early 20s said, you need to always ask yourself the question, therefore what? Okay, so you learn all of these things, but therefore what? Like, how is that going to impact your life? How is that going to change your life? And what are you going to do about this learned knowledge or skill that you've just acquired? Are you just going to sit on it and think about it? And the reality is, I think a lot of people do. They just, whether it's fear, whether they don't have 100% of knowledge or experience, so they don't think that they can do it. But those that are brash and brave enough to go out there and do it are the ones that actually get the results.
There is a lot of people who go out there and get the knowledge, but don't do anything with it. And it's like, I heard a quote the other day, and it was, the worst prison you can be in is the one where you've got the knowledge and the skill, but never do anything with it. That is the case for a lot of people because they do go on training, they do understand things and educate themselves, but it's that next step, isn't it, in actually doing it. So having a mentor, how useful did you find that in your journey to becoming a property investor?
Yeah, so it wasn't a formal mentor in the sense I hadn't paid for any help or support in that at that time, and it was basically somebody that I was working with who was incredibly senior in the corporate world, had a lot of experience. It was a big American company, a lot of experience of bringing people into the business at a young age and sort of developing them for future managerial positions. And anyway, this executive, had lots of wise words to share, and that was one of them that stuck out with me. It was like, therefore what? Like, we learn all these great things, but do we actually do anything with that knowledge? And that's always stuck with me. And when I learn new things, I try to execute them. And as you'll know, my wealth dynamics profile, I'm a creator. And so I've got loads of ideas, and poor on the execution or poor on the finishing tasks. Great starting them, not so much at finishing them. So
there's always a better way of doing it, isn't there, in your head, and you're just creating it in that different way. One of my mates, he does say to me, he'll say, "Could you in your head a lot, you are, Dave?" And I can talk myself out of things quite easily, so it's good to have people around you.
Well, talk to yourself for a long time as well, though, can't you, Dave?
I can actually, yeah. And that's one of the beauties of traffic jams. I can have a little chat.
So, okay, that's a little bit about my background, probably a bit too much about my background, but obviously you mentioned their mentors and coaches, and you're now a property mentor and coach, and you work with a lot of people helping them on their journeys. How did you start out?
So, I mean, if I go back like what you did there, so I always say that I never thought investing in property or having businesses was anything that would ever feature in my life because, well, it wasn't for me. You see a lot of other people who are fortunate to a situation or have got a lot more resources or wealth around them. That was not the case for me. So I never had any aspirations like that, but life just happens, doesn't it? And like yourself, I think I read Rich Dad, Poor Dad and started opening the door on all of that. And then I was thinking, I could do a bit of this. And then I started to educate myself in terms of like what you can do in property, how you can do it. And then you start to realise that, okay, there's ways in here. I mean, this was through books. I guess it's a blessing and a curse at the same time now because you've got YouTube and you've got everybody telling YouTube, Instagram and all that. Like, you only have to go through 10 minutes and it's do this 2-minute thing. It took me 30 years. Now I know this secret for this thing. I bet it's hard to know where to look actually now. I started to look at what I could do and got plenty of that. Started to go out there, find things, talking to agents, all scary stuff, and just ended up talking myself out to most of the deals or opportunities, And that's what I say sometimes when I'm driving around, there'll be something and I think, I know I looked at that and I know that was good. And you can see it set up and someone's done all right out of it. I mean, wish them the best on that, but I still think about what I could have done with that.
Yeah.
But, so I eventually found out that I needed people around me, like just to give that shove, that encouragement, that support, bounce things off. And I did some training down London, but that was just like information only. This is how you do it. That's what I came away with. And I was thinking, still need some help to put this in. And that was when I found Simon's book, Property Magic. And when I read through that, there was stuff in there about mastermind and stuff like that, and case studies from other masterminders. So it's interesting, actually. I've got a case study in there now. Mm-hmm. But yeah, and I looked at that and I thought, I'm going to have a look into this. So I started going to PIN meetings and like, you know, surrounding yourself with like-minded people, stuff like that, which is all good. And then I just thought, I'm doing that program, that mastermind program. And I went on there and that just opened the door for so many contacts then. And, you know, all the support and things like that are needed. And that was when I started doing things in property then. Interestingly, I'd never really looked at property and thought financial freedom, escape this, escape that. And I know so many people do. I just wanted it as something else, like a supplementary part of life. So unlike you, I never really had that as part of, so the 15 years or whatever it was in my job, that was all IT stuff. So that was learning all the IT systems and then learning corporate management and things like that, which I'm glad I got those skills and experiences. But property was never part of it. That was just something after I read Rich Dad, Poor Dad that I thought, yeah, I won't mind a bit of this. Yeah, let's have a look at that. So I suppose that's how I got into it.
So, Dave, when I was young, I used to sit down with the Argos Catalogue and I'd go through it and I'd circle everything that I wanted to buy.
Yeah.
And I had these long lists and I remember going through one day and it was a Sunday afternoon and I circled everything that I wanted to buy in the Argos Catalogue. And I tallied it up and it was just over £5,000. I must have been 11, 12 years old. And I thought, I just need £5,000. I can buy everything that I ever want. Of course, my wants and needs, desires, everything have changed since then. But yeah, I always saw property as the vehicle that could help me get to that. But I say always saw property as a vehicle. Once I was aware of what you can do with property, then, as I say, your eyes are opened and you kind of, you know, you can't unlearn it and you can't unsee it and you kind of, you know, it's always there at the back of your mind. Even when I wasn't doing anything in property, so when I was overseas, we always used to advise clients to have exposure to real estate in a balanced portfolio.
Yeah, of course.
And so we would advise them to look at the UK. The UK is such a great market. There's so much opportunity here. You know, solid rule of law, you know, an island, limited land supply, you know, growing population, all these things, just inflationary toward house prices. That's a different, you know, conversation altogether. But, you know, as an investment and, you know, planning and preparing for retirement or for, you know, replacing your income from your day job, I just saw it as you know, I'm kind of lazy at heart. It's kind of like I just want to take the easiest road to get to that. And you mentioned about a lot of what I've done is kind of followed a similar sort of path. But yeah, I always saw property as the road.
And do you still look at goals and aspirations in the same way as you did with the Argos Catalogue?
I think my priorities have shifted. I no longer need the 2-seater leather lazy boy couch or the Game Boy.
Yeah.
And or the Sega Mega Drive, but I tell you what, having those these days would be great as well.
I still have Lego. I do enjoy doing a bit of Lego.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I used to love this. So this was pre-N64 days. I wasn't from a privileged background. I didn't have an N64 from a big family, lots of kids. No, you can't have an N64 because then everyone will want one or everyone will want...
Yeah, it was the Sega Mega Drive for me. And I used to go around my mate's house to watch him play.
Yeah. I spent summers as a kid growing up watching my friends play on their PlayStations or their N64s.
Yeah. And now you look at kids, I mean, they've got phones, then they've still got like a PS5, then Joel's got this Oculus thing as well, like a
VR.
Yeah, VR. Then they've still got a computer somewhere and
an iPad or an iPod, although iPod's not so much anymore.
And then the 6 weeks holiday comes and they still moan that they're bored. And it's like what you've just said, I used to watch someone play.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
But that being said, there's lots of people that watch gamers, streamers online. It's kind of similar sort of thing, right?
Well, that's the other fallout we used to have. I used to watch him play the games, watch other people play the games that he's got. And I used to think, I've spent 60 quid on that game. Yeah.
It was always a big thing in our school. One of our friends had some quite wealthy parents, and he was the first to have a PlayStation out of anybody that I knew. And on Saturdays, we'd go down to his house, and he'd pull out some scrumpled up 20s in his pocket from his parents had given him, and he'd go down, he'd buy the latest game. I think it was like Time Crisis or something.
But it creates a hunger, doesn't it?
Yeah.
You know, when you haven't got something, it does create a hunger. I remember there was a chap at my primary school, and so this would be 1990 now, and he had one of the first pairs of Air Jordans that came out. I didn't even know who Michael Jordan was at the time.
Worth a fortune these days, though.
Well, they cost a fortune. So I'm going back. So that's 1990. These shoes was about 190 quid or something like that.
Yeah.
Mine was probably a tenner.
I don't have the LA Gear, the lights. Do you remember them?
Yeah, LA
Gears with the lights in. Yeah.
But it's things like that that make you want more and to apply yourself more, and you know, the value of money and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just thinking about how I wanted to get into property. You know, when that switch happened, what is it then? What do I want to do?
Yeah.
And my neighbour over the road, Nick, there's 2 nice houses over the road that his dad had built, and he was in one of them, and he, got his own business. I would have been 25 at the time. I think he was about 28. He was on his second Porsche 911.
Wow.
And I was looking over thinking,
nice.
Wow, that's like, I love cars. The thing he started doing just a couple of years after that was property.
Right.
And I got on well with him. Like, let me drive his car, actually. That was, so I thought, this is a good bloke. He's let me drive his car. So I started asking about, so what are you doing then with these properties and stuff like that? And I'd go around and have a look at them with him. Well, I mean, a couple of nights I was up to nothing. And I remember I was around this one house. I was just helping him get like the wood chip off the wall because I was thinking, I want to know what these feels like, what it was. It absolutely is, actually, yeah. But it was a brilliant experience for me because although I was going around there, just to chat and good company, good conversation, I was helping him do that to a property. I was seeing that it was possible.
Yeah.
So I was thinking, okay, could I see myself doing this? Would this be that scary? Actually, no, it wouldn't. I'm up here now doing this. Could I be doing this on my own property or getting other people? Yeah. Yes, I could.
Yeah, I think if I go back to my teens, there was, I used to have a crush on this girl, and me and some friends went down and we went to visit her family at their family home. They had a beautiful family home. It's in Letchworth, Garden City, and I lived up north, so it was a long drive, right? And so we went down for the weekend, and, her dad was so chill, relaxed, and, great family, great house, beautiful house. And she's like, oh, yeah, my dad built this house. And I was like, oh, what does your dad do for work? And she says, oh, it doesn't do anything. So what do you mean doesn't do anything? It's like, well, he builds houses. I'm like, well, that's something, right? It's like he's not doing nothing. He's building houses. He's clearly got some, money or some equity. He's quite wealthy. But it was quite funny that she went, oh, he doesn't do anything. It's like, because he's always at home, or he was at home a lot. Yeah. And that was kind of the freedom that property had given him in his life and in that family's life, that sort of work-life balance. And that makes me think a little bit about my brother, who's looking to getting more into property now. He's done quite a lot on his own fancy homes.
Jeff Rose.
Yeah. And he has been working on, actually, his first house was a bit of a doer-upper. And so we took it on, and I remember going there in the evenings after work with him and like stripping the walls back and painting and getting the house ready to move into. And he did really well on that property, and he kind of just stepped up and he did more renovations, developments on different properties. But yeah, he's getting back into property now more as an investment as opposed to his own family home. Yeah. He's got 3 girls now and wants to obviously have more time and freedom to have a better work-life balance, and he works a lot of hours. He's a busy guy. So yeah, property can be a vehicle for enabling people to do or focus their time in their life on what's most important and most valuable to them. I think so. Some people, that's family. Some people, they want to spend more time with their church, with their charity. They want to travel the world. They want to sit on a beach and drink some cocktails. They want to go and watch the Grand Prix everywhere. They want to go to America, see the 7 wonders of the world. Anything that you want to do, property can be the vehicle to help people take those steps and have the freedom and the financial capability to do it.
I agree.
So, and not everybody wants to use property to get out of their job. And actually, when when the pressure of the money's gone away, they actually realize that they love doing their job and they're happy to keep doing it, even though they've got the income and the property on the sides, which means they don't have to do it for the money.
That is really important distinction there, because I've coached people in the past and they have been worried that there is a stigma there. If you want to get into property, it's got to be sack the boss. There's no, you can carry on doing what you want. It's just something to supplement your income. You know that you've got something to leave behind. You've got something that's a pension.
Yeah, it's quite funny. I often use that as a joke when we do our 3-day mastermind accelerator and things. And there's a lot of people there that come there and they're wanting to learn about property because they want to sack the boss. And obviously I work for Property Investors Network. And so I always make the joke about, can't wait to sack my boss.
See, that's you again, working in property as well. At the same time, isn't it? So where are you in your property journey now then?
So now I've got a couple of properties that I look after and manage. I've got a lease option, a large HMO that I run and manage that.
That is a big HMO, isn't it?
It is. That was actually my first deal, but we'll maybe save that for another time. Truly in to find out more.
Yeah.
And so at the moment, I'm in discussions with a couple of landlords that are looking to sort of take a back step on their management of their portfolios. They're looking to exit the market. And I'm in discussions about how we can maybe work together and help them both with a tax-efficient exit. And
it does seem a good time to be getting into the market because people are getting out of the market.
Absolutely. Having some great conversations with people. And so at the moment, to answer your question, I am looking to grow and expand my portfolio. I'm also part of the mastermind program. So, full disclosure on there. And I'm loving it. It's, such a great support network and community. And you mentioned that a little bit earlier in the mastermind program. It's the community that adds the value. And I often say this to people. So the mechanics of property investing. So a HMO is a HMO, and like teaching what a HMO is and the rules and the licensing and the planning and the differences and all of that stuff. The mechanics of actually how to set up a HMO and how to run it is not going to make somebody a successful investor. If they know how to do that, it doesn't mean that they're going to be a successful investor. Actually, what I'm seeing is the most valuable thing is to have the accountability and the support and the network and the community around you that are the ones that keep pushing you and moving you forward. Yeah, I'm looking to build and grow my portfolio. I'm practice what we preach here at Property Investors Network, and and loving the journey and the ride and the challenges and all the obstacles. And I kind of see it as a little bit of a game. It's kind of like how can I level up and how can I get to the next level in the nicest possible way. I mean, we're all about ethical investing and sustainable investing. I also want to be able to sleep at night. I'm not about taking advantage of people. So yeah, that's what I'm working on. And what about yourself? What are you working on at the moment?
Yeah, so obviously I'm still working with a sport. I'm still working with a supported living provider, which I have preferred that method of investing, to be honest with you, because for me, it's just a little bit more, what's the word, like give back or like, it just feels a bit better, do you know what I mean, that you're providing accommodation there. So I do like that. So, I've been doing a lot like with developments and things like that. So we're just looking at a development on a piece of land. I'm hoping it's going to come off. These things are never quick. But just rough sketching this week, looking at it, there could be 64 units on this one site.
So a sizable site.
Yeah. So we found like a motivated seller. So somebody who's got the land, inherited it as family. The land comes with some challenges as well. So there's like green belt elements to it and things like that. And this is the stuff I've been doing for about the last 12 months now, which I've been absolutely loving.
So are those sort of individual houses or is that like a block of flats? Is it?
So they're actually like these pre-made, what would you call them?
The prefabs?
Yes, but
modular houses.
Yeah, so eco-friendly, all this lot.
Yeah, that's interesting, yeah.
So we're working with a guy who owns this company and he makes them. He's an investor himself, so he'll be looking at, okay, do you want to come into we've got the land on an option.
Yeah.
So bringing him on board to supply this and have a cut of the deal. But to put 64 of those in place on the land and then just get them sold off.
That's interesting because modular housing, there's certainly a lot of more investment and money going in.
Yeah.
I think some of the challenges with those are the actual manufacture and fabrication of the individual units themselves. But my question is always, well, how are lenders going to take to these? Are they going to be mortgageable? Because normally, you build a house, it's built to last for 100, 200 years.
I can't see modern houses lasting that long, can you? Well, some of
the modern ones.
There's all sorts of constructions now, like timber-framed houses, stuff like that.
Yeah.
It is something I'm concerned about with that, but the way we've done the numbers, if we've got to build the properties, then it still stacks. Yeah. This would be even better.
Well, 64 units is a lot. So, you've got economies of scale there. And I'd be surprised if you couldn't make a development of 64 unit stack. But
well, the challenge
in the details.
The first challenge is the land. So, there's certain things in place with Greenbelt land that you can only do certain things. And so that is going to be getting that part over the line.
Mm-hmm.
We're still trying to work out the demand for the different models that we're looking to put forward. But so I just want to do more in the development space.
Yeah.
And there's a few other of those, a few similar opportunities, and as well just buying and selling bread and butter properties.
Yep.
I do love that.
You're still doing flips or looking for opportunities as well?
Yes. And I don't think you can never stop, can you? Because, when you're just driving around or you're looking at something, they always just stand out, don't they? And I love something just to get in and get out. I think it's good. And I did share with you that there was that fire-damaged house that I was looking at a couple of weeks ago. I wish that one had pulled off.
Yeah.
Because that would have been a house for 20 grand. Straight in the auction. Happy days. Well, anyway, I've got to wrap things up there, Mike. Been an absolute pleasure talking to you. And,
absolutely, yeah.
I found out that you can speak a bit of French. I never knew that. And that you're similar at reading to me. So thanks for watching, everybody. So please don't forget to like and subscribe below on YouTube, and also subscribe on Spotify as well, and all of the social platforms. Now, if you want us to answer a question or you want to see some content on this podcast, please put it in the comments below so you can feed back and tell us what it is you'd like to know, and we'll hopefully get an answer for you there. And remember, folks, it's not the destination, it's the journey.